Hi everybody and welcome. It's a new EDUKWEST. As every week we are on the search for better education, and today I'm happy to have a new and interesting guest for you. His name is Hansoo Lee. He is the co-founder and CEO of, we can say, video startup, to put it right in the headline, Magoosh. So Hansoo, welcome to EDUKWEST. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me on.
Let's start off the interview with a little bit of background about yourself. Do you have a background in technology, like product person, or do you more take care of the, marketing? And what then also led to launching a startup, as I said, in the video space, so video educational platform that Magoosh is today?
Yeah, so I'll start off where Magoosh is a combination of my experience and passion around technology and internet and consumer internet and education. So in my professional career, I've worked for internet companies. I was employee number 3 of a startup many years ago, and then was built a strategy team within a larger internet company more recently. And my passion around education has revolved around my family. I've come from a family of educators where my dad was a professor, his dad was a teacher, my brother is a professor, and so this belief that education can be a silver bullet for many things in our world comes from there. And so what I wanted to do with Magoosh is to combine those two, my experience within consumer internet companies and my passion around education, which has also been expressed through board service through a nonprofit education organization here in the United States for the past 6 years. And with Magoosh, it's combining those two. And I went to business school here at UC Berkeley and got my MBA there, and used that time to really find a way to combine those two and meet others with similar passions and interests. And out came Magoosh.
And what was sort of the pain point, or maybe if we put it in more a positive context, what did you think about as Magoosh, at least currently, or as we see it at the moment, focuses on a lot of math test prep, or on the other hand, TOEFL, so for all non-native English speakers, I think a very essential test to take. But why did you see the opportunity there, or what was the problem students have had so far?
Yeah, great question. When we started Magoosh, it was in business school, and we started it solving the problem, our own problem. When we applied to business school, myself and my co-founders, we took the GMAT and had to prepare for it in order to apply to business school. And some of us either took classes that cost $2,000 and were of questionable value, and others just used books. We spent $50, $100 on books and just used books. And so we thought, hey, there should be a better way to do this online that's more convenient, more effective, and more affordable than the other options. And so that's where it came from. I wanted to do something in education, and I saw that test prep is a good place to start. It's a discrete body of knowledge. It's outside of a lot of the issues that you see with traditional K-12 or higher ed, where there's policy issues and regulation issues. But with test prep, you can start there, and then the vision for Magoosh is do really well in test prep, go really deep, and then have the infrastructure in place to expand to other parts of education when the time is right.
And I would say you touched on some very interesting points there, because I often get asked, how do I figure out where to start a business? And as we often see, either the founders had experienced the problem themselves, which made them, like a little bit in your case, to launch a service, or they saw a particular opportunity. As you said, you are sort of in the test prep market, so a lot of students simply need to take this test, so and are also used to paying considerable amounts of money. So you also have the business problem solved, that there's definitely money to be made in your space. And in the end, I think in the evolution of a startup, it is also at least a factor one should consider, that many startups are, of course, looking for money, that the test prep space is generally also, I would say, interesting for investors. So if a startup offers a compelling solution for test prep, I think for all these startups out there is also a good sign for investors, if you have all the aspects together that you put together for Magoosh.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And is there also did you go into research or methodology that you said, on the one hand, we have, of course, the impressive numbers of YouTube, maybe even other video platforms, but this is more entertainment. I mean, there's a few educators there, but it's definitely the majority is entertainment. And but that you said internet allows us, and now the time is ready to build a test prep program dominantly on video. And did you sort of made some findings that showed video or online educational video is an effective way of learning and preparing for a test?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. You know, when we started, we had a lot of hypotheses around what would make a great test prep experience. And so what our mindset was let's start with a great student experience, learning experience, customer experience in mind, and then try to work backwards and make some good educated guesses on what would constitute a great experience, and test them out in the whole customer development philosophy. You know, build your hypotheses, test them out. And what we found is that there were a few things that students loved when we talked to them and got feedback, and one of them was video, in particular the video in the style that we do it, with animation and narration, short form. You know, I'm sure you and your viewers know Saul Khan and Khan Academy. You know, I love what he's doing. He's paving the way for a lot of us. And what we found also is that there are these studies done out of University of California, Santa Barbara, where this one researcher determined that video done with narration and animation actually results in 80 to 90% better learning outcomes for the student versus text alone. And so, you know, it's intuitive where you can see and you can hear and learn better, but, you know, there's not only this research done by really smart professors, but from our feedback from customers as well, we've learned that, you know, these short videos that are, you know, teach discrete lessons and are engaging and effective are really a core to what we're doing. And then we build technology around that to make it more efficient, more effective, personalized, and that sort of thing.
So, what is then the average or maybe even ideal time of the videos you produce? I mean, we always hear about those famous or maybe infamous 2 minutes over there on YouTube, and I think for an educational subject, it is of course a little bit higher, but would you say the best effect due to your own experience with your students, is it in the 5-minute range, is it in the 10-minute range, and then how personalized does the learning experience can get on Magoosh? And tell us a little bit more about the individual steps that take place.
Yeah, so we segregate our video types into 2 categories. One are more concept videos, video lessons around discrete areas that you have to learn for a particular standardized exam. And then the second area are explanations to questions. And so to answer your question, for the concept videos, those are a little longer. Maybe 4-6 minutes long, and go a little deeper into a discrete area that you have to know for an exam. For example, like the 30, 60, 90 triangles. What do you have to the principles and concepts you have to know for to calculate the sides and angles for 30, 60, 90 triangles. So that's on the lesson side. So on the other side are video explanations. And what we do for all of our questions are provide short video explanations that explain the right way to answer a particular question, as well as help create a takeaway for you for that particular question. So again, if it's a reading comprehension question and it's a main idea question, then the video will highlight, this is how you can understand the main idea. This is why this answer is correct, and at the same time, genericize that and say, this is a way to approach these types of questions, and then where the student can take that learning and apply it to future questions. And so we provide, those are the 2 categories of videos that we have, one on the lesson side and one on the explanation side. And so those are a little shorter. Those are about 2 minutes long.
If it's then 2 minutes, but I also think the range of 4 to 6 minutes, do you at present day, is it web-based, and do you think into that Magoosh would be an ideal solution? Maybe not always maybe learn in the most intensive way, but certainly being in the topic and just going through a couple of questions on a mobile device, for example?
Yeah, that is a great insight. And in fact, what we're doing is when we've designed our web application, we've designed it with mobile in mind, meaning it's something that we are going to do in the near future. I'll be sure to let you know when we announce that. And already we're seeing a lot of our users use our product with the iPad. The reason is because it's the design, even through the browser on the iPad, is very user-friendly, where we've thought about touch in mind when we've built the UI, and because it is video-based, it's a great user experience. And so, even without telling our users or even having a native application, a lot of our users are using our product through the iPad and even iPhone, where because they are these short videos, it's perfect for your commute when you're going to and from work or school. if you have 5 or 10 minutes where you can just sit down on the bus, watch one of these videos and, have that one takeaway, where now I understand 30, 60, 90 triangles. And then, instead of going to a 2-hour class on Wednesday night and Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. I would totally agree, and I understand, as the iPad, in my opinion, is on the one hand a great device for photos, but specifically video, and on the other hand touch, so really experience this with your own hands or your own stylus, basically. I think brings some very interesting and probably also important elements on how people learn when they experience together. And having just this visualization, then as well, that I can understand that Magoosh is well received by or amongst iPad users.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I prepare the traditional way for a test compared to how students prepare for with Magoosh for a test, how long on average are your users with you? How long are they learning with it, and what is sort of the span?
So the great thing about Magoosh is that we built it so that if you can only invest 1 week, which we don't recommend. We want you to be successful as a student and score well, and so we realized the more, standardized exams are one of those things where the more that you prepare, the better you do. And some students, though, for many reasons, personal reasons, they only have a week to prepare, and they come in and use Magoosh very intensely for a week. And you can do that with Magoosh. A number of our students, though, and this is the path that we would highly recommend, is you plan ahead where you have 3 to 6 months to prepare, and you take the time to follow a study guide, and we have a number of study guides of differing lengths up to 6 months, and so that's the way we recommend students to prepare, and everything in between. So whether it's 1 month or 3 months or 6 weeks, we've seen our students follow all those different study plans. So from that time scale, it ranges very widely. From a user visit, though, from like a single user session, we found that our users spend, on average, 40 minutes with Magoosh per visit. And we looked around, and I think Facebook, people spend about 20 minutes a day on Facebook, and so our users are spending twice as much of time on Magoosh than they are on Facebook for a given day when they're studying, which for us is a real, we track that closely as a way to demonstrate, are students engaged? Are they really, sitting down and, going through the material? And I think that's where the video comes into play, where, 40 minutes, that's a good amount of time to sit down and really concentrate and focus on your studies and really take some substantial learnings away. And I think the video really helps the engagement and make it much more enjoyable and easy for our students to sit down for 40 minutes and study this material, which, quite honestly, you probably want to do 100 different things, other things, rather than sit down and study this material. But I think we're showing that it's, the engagement is there and going up. And then the other thing that we track is the customer satisfaction. And there's this notion of net promoter score, which is a measure around customer satisfaction. And companies like Apple and Amazon have really high net promoter scores. But when you look around the industry, you look at the old incumbents such as Kaplan and Princeton Review, they have really low net promoter scores, something like 18 out of 100. And whenever we do our surveys, they're always 3 times higher than Kaplan and Princeton Review. So those are the things we really look at to measure how engaged are our users.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 40 minutes are a gem, and but of course it shows what it means to have a strong motivation compared to something maybe as sticky as Facebook can be. But this is social, whereas when I prepare for one of the standardized tests, it can be decisive for not only my studies but later on my career. So it definitely shows a strong motivation, and also the importance, and then how serious students take these tests. But then the other score you shared with us, I mean, this is definitely then apparently the solution today's students want to learn like this. I mean, maybe not the traditional way with the same textbooks, the ones 50 years ago, or let's say 30 years ago, used or had used as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
About demographics, I mean, of course, it is students preparing for the standardized tests. However, I think these tests already have and gain also increasingly importance all over the world. And I mean, those who want to enter an American college or university, they absolutely need the tests. Do you have identified some countries particularly strong in using Magoosh, or is it really spread all over the world?
Yeah, so in terms of breadth, we have users from over 200 different countries. And, to me, I love that, where it shows really the breadth. One of our principles is accessibility, and being accessible to all, whether you're in the United States or in Europe or in Asia. A lot of students from all around the world want to come to the United States for higher education. And in the past, the options for students abroad were pretty limited. You either, for example, in India, we've heard lots of stories of, you get these old books that are maybe a couple years old, and maybe they've been used by multiple different people, or maybe they've even been photocopied and just passed around, because there's no other way to access good material. But we're finding that after the United States, where the vast majority of our users come from, it's countries like India where a lot of our users come from. And we haven't had any concerted marketing efforts. It's just been through word of mouth and users finding us in countries like India, other countries in Asia and Europe and South America. And we're seeing on a macro scale the fastest growth rates for students applying to higher education institutions are coming from outside of the U.S. The vast majority are still in the U.S., but the fastest growth rates are coming from outside the U.S. And to be able to give them a way to prepare for these exams that is of high quality, that that you can get, that levels the playing field in a lot of ways for them and other students who had access in the past to high quality support and had the resources to get by the high quality materials. That's what we're seeing, is being able to reach many people, not just a select few, and that's what we're trying to do, whether they're in the United States or all around the world. And we're seeing that in our numbers.
And I think you pointed out the reason that people want quality, and if a company offers quality, then of course, we have all this immense amount of content out there, and also in online education, and as it's becoming popular, I think there's really this differentiator between something for free, but not always of good quality. Sometimes yes, but then also a quality service that also takes the students, of course, into or through a framework, and that you really feel well prepared for the test you have to take at the end of the preparation. And this is then also, I think, the convincing argument for people and make them pay, as well. There's of course a lot of discussion going on. First, education must be free, and then everything that happens to take place online is free per se. However, we see a few in education already, a few services being successful in providing quality solutions, and I mean, as soon as you have investors, sooner or later they also want to see some performance. So let's talk a little bit about your business models and plans. So how are you going to make money, or how are you making money already?
Yeah, so going you mentioned one thing before talking about that, about quality, and I think that you touch upon a very important aspect where there is a lot of material online, whether it's free or they have to pay for it. And I think, it is about quality, quality content, quality technology, combining those two. And, that's where we're going. Like sort of, the thing that we will not compromise is quality. And so in order to sort of dovetails into your last question around business model and all of that. We are running a business, and we do have some great angel investors, such as Mitch Kapor, who's making a lot of the most interesting investments in education. Richard Chen, founder of Angel Pad, Jack Larson, who has deep education experience. Warren Hellman, Dave Sharon, who's a Berkeley professor, and Michael Berolsheimer, a great angel investor here in Silicon Valley. What we told them and what they had seen is that you start with quality, but at the same time make it accessible. Make it go mass with it, reach students all around the world. The fact that students, over 80% of students still use a book to prepare for an exam. We want to, turn that into zero. Students should not be, 80% of students should not be using a book, where they, instead of spending the $50 to $100 or even $150 for a book, they can spend that amount of money on a program like ours. And, that's the way we're approaching it, where, similar to a book or a class where a student comes in and pays a one-time fee and gets unlimited access. So whether you're studying for a month or a year or 2 years, a lot of students we find come in and they want to go to school, especially graduate school, but then plans change and they're not going to apply a year later. we're finding that, yeah, that's great. If you buy our product now, we'll continue to update it. It'll have the latest and greatest content and technology, and you'll always have access to our program, and it'll only get better over time. And so, that's our business model, where we charge upfront at a price that is comparable to a few books, but the experience that we're trying to create is more of that of a personal tutor with you at all times, with the videos and the convenience and the personalization, the technology. That's what we're creating is a experience of a personal tutor with you at all times, but for the price of maybe a couple of books.
And then would you say that educational video has the potential of fully or to a great extent replacing other methods, or do you see it more in sort of a blend of being one element amongst other elements?
Yeah, the latter, definitely. The whole blended learning movement is a very interesting movement, and lots of interesting experiments being done within that. But a foundation of that is high quality content that you can access anywhere, anytime, and that's what we're building towards, is building that foundation. And if there becomes a time where tutors, independent tutors, they use our product, and we found that that's happening more and more, use our product to assign, go watch the statistics modules in Magoosh, and they assign that to their students, and then practice the statistics practice questions, and then come back and let's talk about it. I think there's this whole notion that technology is going to completely eliminate the need for classes and teachers. I don't believe in. The teachers, actually, we believe in teachers. We start with the teachers, and that's what we're trying to do, is empower teachers and give them a platform to reach, have a reach that they never had before. What we're doing is finding the best tutors and teachers in these areas, and really capturing them on video in order for anybody to access them. And so, the teacher is still going to be central. It starts with the teacher, and the classroom is still important. But how do you incorporate technology? That's the path that we're headed down.
Absolutely. I think the role of the teacher is simply changing from the need of also explaining the rules, which a program can do in a variety of ways and very precisely, and also be engaging, and then offer the teacher the opportunity to really interact with one individual student, if it's one-on-one, as more like private tutoring, or with a class of students, and to really then go through a couple of problems with them, or questions then that come up. So being much more engaged than simply being the person in the front of the class explaining why this is like this and that. So this can be done by the students largely at home, and the teacher can then concentrate on really working with them on an individual basis. So you touched on the Webbased, so it gave us a little glimpse of the future for Magoosh, but maybe you want to, in this question, go a little bit in where do you see the most exciting challenges for you, or opportunities to expand over the months to come?
So we're really focused on test prep. So graduate school and undergraduate test prep, the largest exams, entrance exams for United States higher education institutions. So GMAT, GRE, SAT, TOEFL, exams like that, in order to really, go deep and, become the brand name that's synonymous for high quality yet accessible test prep for those exams. And going deep means building out our product, making it even more effective, more engaging, and also just getting out there and spreading the word, and getting more users to use it. What we found is that as more users are using it, there is this word of mouth effect that's going on, where people are saying, oh, like this is the best, I've tried a number of different things. I've tried, students are telling us, and we have a blog where students are now sharing their stories. I've, tried one of these classes, spent $1,000. It was awful. Maybe tried this other book, but then, found Magoosh, and it was the best way for me to prepare for the exam. And so, for us, it's about really, continuing to build out the product, build out the effective and engaging learning experience, and then getting it into more users' hands for these initial exams. And then with that in mind, looking a couple years down the road, once that's established, we'll then have a great infrastructure in place, both content and technology, to really expand to other parts of education. The whole Clay Christensen flip in education is happening. I believe, it is going to happen in the next, 6 or so years.
Part, when it's gonna.
It is exactly when is it going to happen. And what we want to do is be in the right position when that happens. And when I say right position, have the infrastructure in place, have the key insights by being in the industry for a while, and then take advantage of that and help move. Help accelerate in a lot of ways that flip. There's a lot of great education startups out there who are, and I view all of them as allies in this greater movement, and to be able to take advantage of that and help when it happens, and then at the same time help move it along altogether is what I'm really passionate about. And that's the that's the billion-dollar opportunity down the road. Test prep is, you talked about earlier, it's a big industry. You can build a large scalable business out of that. But, when you think really, really big, we have that in the back of our mind as we're going through our day-to-day operations. And, that's a part of the bigger vision we have here at Magoosh.
Hansoo, what is the best way for people to engage with you? Where should they go to get more information about the service, about yourselves? You mentioned the blog already, where you get some student opinions, but maybe you just want to pick a few services or a few ways for people to get in touch with you.
Yeah, anybody can email me at Hansoo, Hansoo at Magoosh, MAGOOSH.com. I'm happy to field emails. If you want to learn more about our company and our products, visit Magoosh.com. That will give you a quick overview of the company and our products. And if you're a student, there's a lot of ways to access us, whether it's through Twitter or YouTube. In fact, for our GRE YouTube channel, we already have 500,000 views of our videos there. So we just put up a good sampling of our videos on there. So that's a way for our students to find us. And so, we're on Twitter, Facebook, all the social media outlets. And so, a good place to start is to go to Magoosh.com. All of the information that you could find is there.
And the YouTube channel is then, I suppose, also branded as Magoosh.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, so that's very easy to find. So,
Yep.
and of course, everybody can also follow us at EDUKWEST on Twitter, and well, naturally, we have a Facebook page, so you can go to facebook.com/EDUKWEST and find all the interviews and hopefully other interesting news articles about the online education industry. So, Hansoo, thank you so much for taking the time and talk with me and EDUKWEST today. I think our audience learned a lot more about the potential of online video, particularly in the test prep space, and it was also very interesting for me personally to get educated in that respect. So thank you very much. It was fun.
Well, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure speaking with you.